how y'all like the angle? Angle, it's a new angle. I like this. I like this a lot better. I was trying to find an angle that suits me best as the gorgeous man I am. Anyways, though, y'all, I joke around like that, but anyways, Charlie Kirk, most viewed video ever. Let's get it. Let's go. R.I.P. to Charlie Kirk, and let's kick it in. Let's see what we got here.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter.
Oh, so I vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Than a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
Actually, when I first saw this ad, I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
This is why college campus debates are great conversations. However, a lot of these kids that walk up to the microphone are not educated on a lot of things. They're just hearsay shit. Granted, they are in college and they should be being educated, but I want you guys to think about it like this. They're not educated because a lot of the stuff they think they're educated on, a lot of them aren't really in classes researching this stuff. Like, some of them are, which is why sometimes that you get one that comes up there and it's like, oh wow, this kid knows his shit. But majority of the times, like, you don't get a bunch of people doing that. You get a bunch of people who are in college for business. Like, that's what most people go to college for, business. Psychology, and there are some sociologists starting to rise, but he's not going to sociology campuses. I don't think he is he? Like that where sociology is prevalent. So sometimes I think that these conversations were generally a waste of time and just make good content for YouTube. But other times I think that this did drive a good conversation to where it's like we do need to sit down and have these conversations. Drive a good conversation to see that we need to sit down and have these conversations, to see our differences as Americans and find ways to come together. But you can tell this is just going to be nothing but ad hominem. She's just going to be doing nothing but insulting him the whole time, and he's probably going to be firing back and making it funny. And yeah, this probably going to be a waste of time. It really is. It's going to get nowhere in conversation.
Well, no, you can see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel? That's not comedy. That is a 5-alarm fire for Kamala Harris, because she's probably going to lose Pennsylvania.
Look.
But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talking to voters?
No, there's nothing wrong with talking.
Well, that's what we're doing here today. It's an open mic.
I think that you push a dangerous agenda.
Such as?
Your stance on abortion rights, for example.
There we go. Okay, so
let me ask a question. What is your name?
Gene.
Gene, and what is
for those of you guys who don't know, that's Vivek Ramaswamy. I hope I said his name right, but he's actually running in my state. He's running in Ohio. Interesting enough, he's actually running in Ohio. I don't know, it's just interesting that he popped up.
Understanding of the current Republican Party's stance on federal intervention in abortion?
Well, I know that they want to bring it back to the state.
Make this clear, though. I understand the Republican argument before she even says it. The Republican argument is that that is a life and that life needs to be protected. That is an argument. The left's argument is that the woman should have right to bodily autonomy. Both of these things are philosophical. You see what I'm saying? It just depends on what we see. You know, people will argue when the fetus is supposed to be considered a life. People argue it's life all the way through conception. That's mostly the Republican stance, is to protect the life. Like, so I don't know. Let's see what he says.
He's right.
So it sounds like you do know that the Republican Party's current stance on abortion is they're against a federal ban on abortion.
I do understand.
We're talking about a presidential election as the important election that we're talking about here.
I understand that, yes.
Great. So, again, I think this open dialogue is great. I think it's great you're here challenging Charlie, and I think it's great that he's willing to travel campuses across this country to talk to the next generation. We need more conversation. Now, where's the disagreement, though, on content? Because you can criticize style or why you're talking to people or dump on someone personally, but where do you actually disagree
I agree
substance?
with the way that you edit content and specifically frame it so that people look bad talking to you. The way that you edit your content.
We post unedited content.
Let me just ask you one thing though, because personal insults can fly in all directions. Where is an area where you have a disagreement with the conservative movement, with Donald Trump, with Charlie Kirk, perhaps with myself? I was a presidential candidate last year. I think we need to talk about that more in the open, and the more we do, the stronger our country is going to be. We've got a long line of people, but I want to hear from you one substantive area where you have an authentic disagreement, and I'd be glad to address it. I'm sure Charlie would too.
Just in anything,
relating to any political topic where you have a disagreement. Let's air it.
Okay. I disagree with some of the laws that are being pushed in Congress that are against the LGBTQ community and the trans community.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to give you my view, and then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
My view is that if you're a fully grown adult, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want, dress how you want, marry who you want if you want, if you're over the age of 18.
I agree.
But you are not free to indoctrinate children in schools who are not yet of the age of consent. You are not free, just as you're a 17-year-old or a 15-year-old can't get a tattoo on their own, I don't think that you should be able to go or until the age of 18. And so the lines that I draw here is that men are free to claim to be women and swim in swimming pools. You're not free to claim trophies in a women's sports competition. You're not free to enter a women's locker room. You're not free to change a language, and you're not free to actually indoctrinate our children who are under the age of 5 in schools. Do we agree on the fact that adults should be able to live freely while still treating children differently? If so, we're on the same side of this issue.
Listen.
Nothing he said I disagree with. Like, hey, nothing he said I disagree with. Y'all tell me what was wrong with what he just said. I saw nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with what he just said. And I think the majority of Americans would agree with that. If you're rational, like.
I agree with the majority of what you said. However, I don't think that you're understanding the implications of the laws that are trying to be passed.
Look, we got a head start on the conversation. We got a long line behind you. But my only ask is, forget the personal attacks or the stylistic attacks. Focus on substance. The more we debate that, the stronger we're going to be as a country. Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
I don't think you're focusing on substance, though. That's the issue.
Hold on. Look, he intentionally tried to provoke substance out of you. And you said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I've asked, what laws are you talking about? Can you be specific?
I'm sorry, I'm very nervous, but this is what you do. This is what you do. You take people and you put them under the spotlight, and you.
Well, hold on. I didn't ask for you to come up here. You voluntarily came to the front of the line. You didn't have to do that.
You're purposely antagonizing people on campus, asking people to come up by spreading your weird agenda.
How? What agenda is that? I'm confused though.
So Charlie, I'll say this. We'll end on this and we'll go to the next question. When I was 18, I'm not going to blame you for this, I also took for granted a lot of the stuff that the media force-fed me, because that's what you know at the age of 18. You say there are some vague laws making their way through Congress that are hostile to trans community.
Do you know how?
I don't think those laws actually exist, but I don't blame you if that's what the cable media is feeding you. But let's get to the specifics, and then we're able to actually have an open dialogue. That's one of the things I've learned over the last 20 years.
I think that the issue is we're getting our media from different sources. Both people are getting media from these skewed sources.
She's right about that.
The facts that you're presenting are not always correct.
And that's why we're here with no TV screens between us. So people who have policy-based substantive disagreements, we invite those. I think that's how we're going to get our country back. And as it relates to trans, which you brought up, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want. You're not free to force that onto somebody else, or especially kids. And if we agree on that, we'll make some progress. Thank you.
I didn't disagree with anything Ramaswamy said. I actually would probably vote for him because he seems like a rational person. Like, he seems like he'd be a decent. I don't know if he can win Ohio though. Ohio is a different state. I'll just say it like that. Ohio's a different state. I don't know if he can win Ohio, but hell, he might, you know. Anyways though, y'all, that was a great video. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna watch more. He should actually do more college campus debates. I mean, with people getting unalive, though, I don't know if you should do that, but he should actually do more college campus debates, because I think that, like, let's hear everybody's opinion. Let's see what makes sense and what doesn't, and then we'll see between what, you know, what does. Nothing he didn't say didn't make any sense. I would vote for him just for those specific things that he was talking about, like, you know, you can't do. I agree with those things, you know. Anyways, though, I'm out, y'all. Peace.